at the southern border because new video shows a big group of migrants slipping through a gap in the border fence into Arizona. Apparently not finished there.
Yeah, they cut it. Our border seems to be breaking records every day with a number of criminals being apprehended over the past weekend, but then let go.
Crazy. Griff Jenkins is live at the epicenter of it all, Eagle Pass, Texas. Hey, Griff.
Hey, good morning, guys. And let me show you, we have yet another large group arriving here right now behind me. Now, it is 38 degrees. You can see my breath. Wind is blowing, it's frigid, but yet as the light's coming up, and I'm gonna have my cameraman Dalton just push in there, bear with me with the lighting conditions, but this is what we've been seeing every single day. Not sure how big this group is, but you can see just beyond the bodies here lining up on that razor wire is the river. Yesterday, there were more than 2,200 migrant crossings here just in the Del Rio sector. I encountered one man from Angola. They had some 20 plus Haitians. Seeing Haitians again is really alarming the officials because they haven't seen them for a while, since going back 2 years when, of course, you saw the tens of thousands under the bridge in Del Rio. This is the second day in a row we've had Haitians of concern here, and that is all part of the problem. Now, if we want to split the screen possibly or take you out to Lukeville, you can see the Lukeville numbers also surging, and that is what the officials are sounding the alarm on because we haven't seen those. Now, among the migrants coming across, and in Lukeville, you've got people from Bangladesh, Egypt, China, Senegal, all over the world. In addition to, in this area, I should point out, it is still largely Venezuelans, but also people from Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua. And we've been harping on that stat that 5,000 migrants a day are being released in the country. That's pulling these people. It is a magnet unlike we've ever seen on the border. Officials know it. Now lawmakers like Tony Gonzalez knows it, but yet the administration doesn't seem to be doing anything and not realizing what they're doing to pull them. The Border Patrol chief, by the way, tweeted out yesterday a figure I gave you, which was the 20,000 migrants over the weekend. But in addition, let me show you this tweet. He put a few more details. You see here, they also had 3 sex offenders, 3 gang members, a few of their convictions, lewd and lascivious acts with a child under 14. Unbelievable. I got a chance yesterday to sit down with the independent mayor, Rolando Salinas, here in Eagle Pass. I asked him about all this and about the administration. Have they come down here and visit? He says no. I said, do you feel like they're going to do anything for you? Here's what he had to say.
We just kind of have to fend for ourselves here in Eagle Pass. We do our best with what we have. It's unacceptable. We feel 100% ignored by the federal government, by the administration. They don't bother to give us a call. Nobody bothers to tell us what the plan of action is.
And just lastly, before I let you go, I'm just going to push one more time because we're just getting some light on these migrants and make the point, which is why these agents are so overwhelmed. Here in the Eagle Pass area, you've got no more than about 40 agents on any given shift. They've been working around the clock, being overwhelmed 50 to 1, 60 to 1. Out in Lukeville, we learned the ratio of illegal immigrants crossing to Border Patrol agents on the line. It's 200 to 1. That is creating the challenge that they have here, and it is one that just simply isn't giving them a break. That's why they're reaching a breaking point. That's why morale is suffering. And as the sun comes up, and I wish I had a little more light, I'd give it to you, you're going to see this all day long. Yesterday, we had at least 4 large groups of well over 100. We'll see what we're in for today. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Hey, Griff, what was this? Congress is talking about going home without a deal, without any type of asylum changes, without any type of money for more Border Patrol. What's this going to look like in over the next 3-4 weeks as Congress enjoys their holiday?
Well, you can see, Brian, these live pictures. Again, just to point out, it's 38 degrees here. This is typically the time of the year when you have very few migrants covering, simply because it's very uncomfortable and very difficult. We had just the other day a 1-month-old infant that was born on the journey in the Darien Gap, just the harshest of conditions. Right. And yet Congress, it sounds like, according to Republican Senator James Lankford's going to go home without a deal because the White House is only talking to Democrat senators, not Republicans. And if you talk to any official out here, I'll leave you with this thought. They say, listen, funding's great, but we need a lot more than funding. We need policy changes. We need to raise the fear threshold of meeting the credible fear. We need a rocket docket of judges to quickly deny asylums, and we need to increase massively the deportations to send the message that migrants shouldn't come. Yet all you can see in the way of deterrence is CBP puts out a tweet every 6 hours or so saying, don't come, you won't be let in. But that's not the message they're getting behind me.
There are people behind you. Who are those people walking behind you? Are those migrants trying to get over?
On the other side of the chain
so
link
the
fence.
people, these are migrants that are crossing two different locations, to my east and my west, and coming across the river, and they'll put them, Ainsley, just in one single file line. And at this point, they'll be marched. There's a lot of them. That's why I'm waiting for just a little more light to come up. They're going to march them right up behind me and take them to the top of the hill beyond me. And that's where they'll do what they call mobile processing. They'll check to see if they're ID, find out who they are. We had just the other day, on Saturday, we had one individual in just the one quick mobile processing hit for sex offender. They handcuffed him and separated him. But this is where we also will find out where they're from. Yesterday, one guy from Angola.
Hey, Griff, as you pushed in, and it's dark enough to see that a number of the migrants are looking at their cell phones. And just out of curiosity, you know, a lot of these people have come to that location just across from Eagle Pass on the trains, and they've been walking for days or weeks or months. Where do they plug in their cell phones? How do they get the electricity to charge those things up?
That's a great question. We don't fully know the answer to that, although I will say this. And I interviewed a migrant that was telling us that immigration officials along the way, this was last week, told me that the immigration officials had given migrants GPS coordinates of where to go in Piedras Negras, that's the Mexican town across the river from us, to get to this specific point, directing migrants right here. So I'm willing to surmise that many of them are using their phones to make sure they're going to the right spot. Why? Because they know that they will be taken into custody. They're going to get warm this morning, that's for sure. They're going to get those shiny Mylar blankets. They'll get probably water, and they'll be taken to a processing center not far from here where they will warm up, and then ultimately they will be released. And we have found on multiple occasions the migrants that have filled out the CBP One app on their phones, but yet still crossed illegally because they got tired of waiting, but they were holding on to that CBP One application to, I guess, give them some assurance just in case they had a problem being released. They'd have that proof as another thing. And you're looking now, by the way, just at more of them coming along that line, as you're pointing out, Ainsley. That's because they've just crossed and being directed here. It's happening here with the efficiency of an Amazon operation, of like your Christmas shopping happening here, just orderly. And I got to give my hats off to these Border Patrol and National Guardsmen down here, because this is what they've been handed. They don't make the decisions. They don't set the policy, and they're doing the best job they can in difficult conditions.
If you can explain to our audience, because I see this barrier right here. I think Texas DPS and National Guard put this razor out here. Who's down there doing the processing? Has Border Patrol already made it down there? Because normally Texas DPS will take them in and wait, detain them until the Border Patrol gets there. Has Border Patrol already arrived there on the scene?
That's right. They have, Lawrence, and I'm not sure it would quite work if I tried to spin the camera, because I just want to stay on this shot because we're getting a little more light so we can really start to begin to see the size of the group. Yesterday's morning group turned into in excess of 400. But where the river is, we've got the National Guard just to receive them. But then about 1,000 yards, 500 to 1,000 yards beyond where I'm standing, up a winding road at the top of a hill, you can can see Border Patrol and a bus already waiting. In fact, Dalton, my cameraman's going to absolutely yell at me, but Dalton, is it possible to spin around and just show, this is a little bit rough, yeah, and you can just see beyond us, we'll try and show this to you. You can see a Border Patrol truck, and you can see a bus that's already waiting, and I apologize for the rough TV turn here we're making, but just since you asked, Lawrence, you can see at the top of the hill, you've got up here a Border Patrol truck at the top, that's the green stripe, and then a bus. That bus, just out of view, is waiting, so they're going to try and process them as fast as possible. But right now, we've got more and more coming across that river.
All right, and Grip, because you mentioned the sun coming up, we're going to check back in with you in about a half an hour as the sun comes up and we can see more of what's going on right there in Eagle Pass.
What a mess.
Griff is the most experienced Border Patrol reporter in the country, and he's never seen anything like it.
Yeah, you're right.
And they're a lot. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.